Hey guys, Dan here again with Pain for You. I'm still in St. Petersburg, but it's been really windy outside and there's a marathon going on outside of the hotel here. And so there would be really nowhere I could find for some peaceful, quiet area to shoot these videos. This video I want to talk about medication. You know, I get so many questions about medication. And the first thing I will tell you is I'm not a doctor. I can't advise you on your medications. If you're saying, how do I get off these medications? My answer is going to be, go talk to your doctor. Ask them the safe way to taper off in a way that's not going to harm you, right? Because stopping cold turkey may or may not work. I don't know. I can't advise you on that. My beliefs that I'm going to share in this video have more to do with fear and expectation as it surrounds medication. And I will often see people who say, I went on this medication and I did awful. Then others say, oh, the medication really helped me. What's the difference? Yeah, there could be biological differences, dietary nutrition, state of overall health. There could be genetic issues that some people respond better than others. The only thing I can really focus on is what's going on between the two ears. And as it relates to, our pains and our symptoms, what we focus on tends to magnify and grow. What we fear, we tend to bring into our life. So if we're fearing the pain and we're focusing on it all day long, it may tend to grow and magnify. And so if you're the type of person who is prescribed a medicine and you take it completely fearful of the side effects, and you're reading all of the side effects and saying, I hope I don't get this, that, and that, you're much more likely to react negatively to that medication than the person who says, okay, this could help me. Doesn't go reading about all the possible horrible things that could happen. And I'm not saying that's a better way to go, because I believe that medications do have side effects. All I'm suggesting is that our fear and our focus about the medication itself may be why we react poorly to the medication. It's not unlike chemical sensitivities. We have a dramatic exposure to some type of chemical or toxin. We get sick or ill from it, and now all of a sudden there's a linkage between chemicals or smells and illness and danger and trauma, and we, through that experience, we now link these things to pain and to symptoms and to illness, and I almost died. And now our nervous system takes that as a hint and says, these things are dangerous, so let's be on the lookout for them. And so chemical sensitivities develop not because we're imagining them, not because we're crazy and we're out of control and we're just nuts. It's absolutely because this traumatic exposure experience, where we did get actually ill, taught our nervous system that these things are dangerous, and therefore our nervous system and our brain, being that its job is to protect us and keep us safe, it now is on high alert looking for examples of these things. So that way, when you're going through the mall and you smell somebody with perfume or cologne, your immediate reaction is, oh no, and you get a headache, and then you start to react. It's not imagined. It's not that you're crazy. It's not that you're losing it. It's literally because your nervous system has connected these smells and these chemicals to be dangerous. And as a result, because your brain has decided that these things are dangerous, they actually react that way. Your physical reaction is as if you were just poisoned. In my other business, I solve tobacco smoke problems in homes and businesses. I've gotten calls from people who say, I can't even sleep in my own house. I feel like I'm going to pass out. I stand up, I'm going to faint, and everything else. My husband doesn't even smell the smoke. My husband thinks I'm crazy. And this all of a sudden got into a chemical sensitivity talk, but I'll get back to the medication in a minute. Using this as an example of how our nervous system learns to respond to things that it perceives is dangerous. So in the cases with the lady smelling the smoke and not being able to stay, she's not imagining it. She's not crazy. Her nervous system has actually been taught that these fumes, chemicals, these gases from tobacco smoke are dangerous. Why? In this lady's case, when she was 5, she had 3 asthma attacks where she was hospitalized because her parents smoked. And so that linkage is rock solid. And now every time she smells smoke, danger, I'm going to be in the hospital, I'm going to almost die. Add insult to injury, when she was in that hospital, her parents left her overnight by herself and she felt abandoned. Even more danger. So, as it relates to medicine, back to the point, medication, our fear of the medication is almost as strong as the placebo effect of taking a sugar pill. In other words, drugs go through clinical trials where they do placebos. Is the placebo as effective as the actual medication? Nocebo is when we believe something is bad for us. My mom is a perfect example of this. She is very adverse to taking any medicine. She feels she's going to react, she's going to have symptoms, she's going to get sick if she takes medicine. And invariably, she does. She had brain surgery 12 years ago for an aneurysm. Thank God they found it. And she's fine. But even after surgery, they were giving her anti-seizure medicine to keep that brain from having seizure activity in the location of the actual surgery. And she's laying in the hospital bed fighting that she doesn't want the medication after brain surgery. And so her fear over her reaction of the medicine was actually stronger than her fear over the fact that she literally just had her head opened up and operated on. And so if you react very poorly to medicine, just ask yourself, where did that fear come from? Did you have a traumatic experience in the past? And where are you mentally and emotionally and fear-based as you take the medicine? Because honestly, if you take the medicine and believe it's going to make you worse, emotionally, symptom-wise, it's going to mess up your nervous system, whatever your beliefs are. If you've read that product insert and you looked at all those side effects, it's very likely that fear is going to bring some of these side effects into play, when in fact, without the fear, it may not. And that may be able to explain why some people do better than others. And I am in no way, shape, or form blaming anybody for being afraid of medicine. As you may have gathered, I'm not a big fan of medications. In cases where pain meds are prescribed and you actually find them helpful, I'm not here to judge that. If you are taking anti-anxiety or drugs to affect depression and your emotions, sometimes that can numb us out. We don't feel the negatives, and as a result, we're not feeling quite as depressed, but we also don't feel the highs. We're not able to feel joy or happiness. And in that case, it can sometimes affect our ability to do this emotional discovery work, and that becomes an important component of getting better. So somebody was really asking about medication and, how do I deal with worsening symptoms or new symptoms or side effects when taking medicine? And it's really, am I taking the medication because I believe it will help me? Or am I taking the medication despite the fact that I know it's going to hurt me? And if you're taking it believing that it's going to hurt you, you're literally instructing your brain to react in such a way. So there is no recommendation here to take medicine or not take medicine. That's an individual decision that you're going to need to make with your doctor. Again, I'm not a doctor, so if there are cases where medication can help you, make that decision with your doctor. But just know, if you go in reading the side effects and freaking out that, oh my God, this pill is going to make me sick, and then you swallow it, don't be surprised when it makes you sick. So make the decision knowing that in some cases medication is needed. In some cases it's a Band-Aid for a temporary fix. And again, zero judgment for anybody who's taken medication to help them with anxiety and depression. Some of situations can be lifesavers, right? People are so depressed that they don't want to live. And in some cases, the medication is what gets them through that rough patch. So I can't really say take it or not. Just recognize that if you react very poorly to medication, it may very well be because of the fear. And if you're that afraid of it, you may really want to double check and say, do I need to take this? Or am I just going along with what the doctor told me to do because doctors have authority and I should listen to my doctor, right? So that's kind of my take on medication and why some people react well to medications and other people react poorly. And so hopefully that makes sense. Again, no judgment if you take meds. I'm not suggesting medicine. I'm not suggesting not taking it. It's an individual decision. You've got to make it. But again, if you're reacting in such a way that the medicine makes you sick, it may very well be because that's your belief before you even put it in your mouth. Belief is really strong. Belief is really powerful. And that could absolutely be the nocebo effect, meaning a belief that something is bad for you actually becomes so. It's like thinking that bending over is going to hurt my back, and therefore every time you bend over, it hurts your back. Nocebo is the opposite of placebo. So look into those two topics, and I guess we will talk to you guys in the next video. Love you guys. Thanks.